Let's start with the guy we knew 4 years ago and 10 years ago, or the guy that debated Paul Ryan. I see a dramatic, significant decline. He looks weak, frail, and obviously he's struggling cognitively, Senator. If you disagree, you tell me I'm wrong.
Well, I'll tell you what else it reveals. It reveals the hypocrisy. And I remember Rick Perry was torn apart and mocked by the press because he couldn't remember something in a debate. You know, I myself was torn apart in a debate because I repeated the same thing 3 times. I mean, it's just a complete double standard. It's just one more example of it, you know, and it's unfortunate. But I also think we have to understand something. I mean, that is, if you're a foreign leader and you're watching this stuff, they're going to make their own assessments about what they think they can get away with. Are they dealing with a weak leader? Are they dealing with someone that really doesn't have control of the situation? Is he just an instrument and a puppet for the radical, you know, out of control lunacy of the far left in his party, and they're just using his presidency to sort of achieve these things that they've been trying to do forever? And I think there's a lot of them. I met with the president of Mexico, I believe it was today. There's no way they leave that meeting feeling like they're dealing with a strong leader.
You see what's going on the borders. Imagine for a second now, it wasn't Donald Trump that built the cages for the kids. That was Biden and Obama. Can you imagine if Donald Trump actually put kids in cargo storage containers on ships with bars in the window, won't let the media take a look at what's inside, but we're told that there's pictures of beautiful butterflies on the wall, and we should be okay with kids in cargo containers. Doesn't sound that accommodating and inviting to me, Senator.
Yeah, but the real tragedy begins well before they get into those centers. It's the fact that, how are these people getting here? They're getting here because trafficking networks are taking advantage of poor, desperate people, and they're telling them, there's a new president. This new president will let you come into the United States and stay there if you show up with a child. So now you've created an incentive for children to be sent on that journey. We have no idea how many of these children are killed on that journey, left behind, die from illness on that journey, are sexually abused on that journey by these evil trafficking networks, all incentivized by a policy. And what we wind up with is complete, utter ridiculousness. Today, it is easier in many ways to show up at the border of the United States and gain entry into this country than it is for an American to come to the Capitol and see their member of Congress. We've got House members have to go through a metal detector to go vote, but if you show up at the border, your ability to stay in the country, if you're with a child, your ability to stay in the country is dramatically increased. We're going to have hundreds of thousands of people, because the word is out in Central America that if you show up at the border with a child, they're going to let you in, they're going to let you stay, and you're just going to see more and more people coming. It's a terrible tragedy, and by the way, it's not good for this country either.
There's a lot of double standards in this world and a lot of phony media reporting. We saw that with Russia, right? We did have a dirty Russian dossier Hillary paid for. It was used to spy on a president and a presidential candidate. Those are all facts at this point. That happened. We had a Ukraine impeachment, but we have Joe Biden leveraging $1 billion taxpayer dollars to get a prosecutor in Ukraine fired because we find out his zero-experience 50-year-old son is making millions, just like millions from oligarchs in Russia and the Bank of China, the $1.5 billion deal there. A lot of double standards. You were there for the Kavanaugh hearing, Senator, and we saw how that man was treated, and we saw his family, frankly, brutalized, and we saw many people's stories fall apart right before our eyes. And now you got the situation where the I believers are silent on the issue of serious allegations against New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, and, by the way, 2 women during the campaign that came out against Joe Biden. Now he's saying he wants an investigation into Cuomo. Should these standards be applied equally?
Yeah, I actually think they should be applied at a higher standard. The allegations against Kavanaugh were allegations that happened, 20, 30 years ago when he was a high school student and a college student. And look, not to say that allegations of somebody actually did that, which was never proven, that it wouldn't be bad. These allegations are about a man in a position of power, okay? A position of power, a governor of the 3rd largest state in the country who has a position of power over the people that now accuse him. That happened, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 years ago. So the standard should actually be higher. And, Al Franken resigned from the United States Senate under pressure from his colleagues because of some insensitive things he said to people on USO tours. These are allegations of someone using their power as a governor over a staff member, over someone who inferior to them in the power structure. So you think about that for a moment and how long it took for some of these networks to even talk about it. The only reason they're talking about it now is because there are 3 accusers.
Yeah. All right, Senator, interesting times. We'll see if the I Believer caucus starts to speak out. They're a little late already. Senator, good to see you. Thank you for being with us.